think so. Woo. Should I take them to... Good evening, everyone. If you'd please take your seats, we'll get started. Okay, I'm going to get started here, so find your seats, please. Thank you. All right, this is a well-behaved crowd. So good evening and welcome to ULI Washington's Lifetime Achievement Award Dinner. I am Yolanda Cole, Chair of the Washington District Council of the Urban Land Institute and Senior Principal of Hickok Cole Architects. My goal as Chair is to enhance the reputation of ULI Washington as a thought leader and increase the value of our impact in the region. To that end, we have just released the new 2018 Millennials Inside the Beltway survey, which you can find on our website, and you should look out for our report on increasing broad-based housing affordability in the region in the first quarter of 2019. We are here tonight to recognize and celebrate excellence in land use. Since its inception, a who's who of our region's most outstanding real estate luminaries have been honored. The full list of prior honorees is in your program. Tonight, the real estate community gathers in this impressive building to honor Bob Buchanan. So I'm going to give up. Before I go, I would like to give a special shout out to our Developers Jazz Band and a big thank you to Richard Bowles and Shyam Cannon. That was pretty fantastic. So we'll give that to you. Please enjoy your dinner. At the end of the dinner service, we will present the award. Thank you. We're about to start the program, so if we could get seated, that would be fabulous. Okay, thank you. I hope you enjoyed your dinner or are still enjoying your dinner. I would now like to resume the program by playing a video in honor of Bob Buchanan. So let's begin.
Focused. Forward-looking. Determined.
Integrity.
Straight shooter. Incisive.
Irreplaceable.
There's way better words out there like amazing, successful, dynamic, visionaries, but Bob, to me, is just so impactful in whatever he sets his mind to.
Potomac River, because of the nature of the multi-jurisdictions that govern it, is truly like an ocean, and we're trying to build a bridge across the Potomac Ocean.
There's nobody in the region that crosses the river back and forth and can connect with so many people across the region, and that's his great strength.
No matter who is in the room, Bob has the ability to make people see the bigger picture and to find a way to build consensus and to move everyone forward.
He can bring all the business leaders together to work with the government leaders. At the same time, he can make the government leaders see the value of the market economy and the value of the business community.
Well, he is totally unselfish. Bob is the most unselfish person that I know of when it comes to his own personal affairs.
If you go down the checklist, how does Bob represent ULI? Let's go down the checklist. It's about good design, about good dimensions of his projects in every way, about creating public value, about social responsibility, about having his projects and his initiatives well situated both in the present and the positive future of community. That's what Bob is about. That's what ULI is about.
ULI has made a great choice in recognizing Bob Buchanan as its Lifetime Achievement Award, because I think Bob epitomizes sort of the Renaissance man. He is a business person. He looks at things through the business lens, but he also looks at the social impact of things, and I think that's key.
ULI, all the people who participate in ULI care deeply about the health of our region, and there's nobody that has contributed more to the health of our region than Bob Buchanan.
The 23rd group really focuses on what needs to be done to maximize the potential of this region. Bob is the first to tell you that this is a great place to live, work, and play, but we need to be proactive in addressing the challenges and opportunities that exist here in order to reach our potential.
There's no question in my mind that Bob is deserving of this award because he has done so much in the past 5 years to create an atmosphere of growth and prosperity in this region. Bob has convinced a number of the leaders of the region that they need to come together and work together rather than being individually competitive.
And he focuses on both the details, but then the bigger picture. He focuses on making the world a better place, making the community a better place.
He wakes up every day looking for a way to advance the region or to bring people together. Through his work with the 2030 group, he's really been able to drive regional collaboration and take it very much from an idea to a concept that's accepted to a practice through the Metro Now Coalition and many other initiatives that are underway.
When he and the 2030 group got things started, the word regionalism didn't seem to be in anybody's vocabulary. And you can't go to a forum or an event now where it's not in a prominent location on the agenda and a major part of the discussion. He's put regionalism on the tip of everyone's tongue.
He's done more for the region in a very quiet way over the last 5 to 10 years than virtually anybody else. And this is a region that needed to come together. It was a daunting task, and Bob stood up in a very determined way and met that task head on, and the region is better for it. Bob Buchanan's secret weapon is his wife, Sharon. Sharon is a very creative, talented, caring person, and Bob and Sharon together are quite a team.
Bob and his wife Sharon have been together for many years. They have beautiful children and a number of grandchildren. They travel together as a family. I mean, I make my travel plans based on where the Buchanans have gone for their annual vacation.
What impresses me about Bob is his open-mindedness and his commitment to inclusiveness and diversity. He makes a point of making sure that different ideas and different communities are included in our community building agenda.
He sees things in you that you might not see in yourself. And he supports you in a way that's very subtle, and you don't know that he's sort of urging you along or giving you guidance, but he's there for you, and he makes you believe in yourself.
Bob's contribution is empowering other people. He's done a lot of development. He's been very successful. but in his business life and in his political life, he is somebody that empowers other people to act, and I think that's his great strength.
He has groomed so many people in so many different ways that I think the people he's helped make will be his legacy.
He's a businessman, first and foremost, but he doesn't look at just the bottom line financially, he looks at the bottom line socially as well. And so for us, what's important about Bob is that he has been, he's a patron of the arts, he's an art collector, he has supported me personally, he has supported the organization, he just believes in the power of the arts. I would lay out a railroad track for Bob Buchanan.
A lot of people use the phrase, I want to leave this world a better place. And most of them, it's probably just lip service. But with Bob, he means it. He really, really intends to leave this world a better place. I think Bob's legacy will really be his unstinting effort to really tie this region together. I think that's going to gain more and more momentum. It's going to gain more and more inertia and force. It will continue to bear fruit, and Bob will be responsible for starting it.
What ULI needs to know about Bob is they need more Bobs. They need more guys like Bob who have the kind of vision and drive that he has, not just in real estate endeavors, but in community endeavors and regional endeavors.
I think his regional expertise, connections, and perspective have benefited us tremendously. I cannot think of anyone else who was more deserving than Bob Buchanan.
You know, he jokes about what he's going to do when he grows up, and I think we're all waiting to see, but no matter what it is, I know that it will be done with purpose and done very well, so we'll all be better for it.
His legacy will be that he, as an individual, changed the direction of the Washington region for the better.
That was fantastic. I love the videos. It is now my pleasure to introduce Brian Benninghoff. Brian has been a business partner and a close friend of Bob Buchanan and his family for many years. He will now present the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you, Yolanda. And I apologize for my voice. It's getting better. I think if this were yesterday, it'd be a combination of sign language and interpretive dance. So I'm glad we can avoid that. And thank you all for coming. It's a wonderful evening, and it's terrific to be able to celebrate Bob tonight. We have most of Bob's family, almost all of them, almost all of Buchanan partners, so a special welcome to those guests. And the testimonials and the film clips that we just saw, I mean, I can tell you from personal experience, that is Bob. And it's wonderful, the tributes and what everybody had to say. So thank you all for that. That was excellent. Throughout his entire career, Bob has had a strong commitment to excellence, a willingness to do things the right way, not necessarily the easy way, and a desire to continue breaking new ground. Whether it's pioneering in real estate developments in areas that have previously been underdeveloped, like he's done over so many years, or it's breaking new ground with groups like the 2030, which bring focus and regional effort towards cooperation in our region. And around Buchanan Partners, we say the adage about dogs and new tricks in no way applies to Bob. He is always willing to take on something new and to tackle it. Bob's a third-generation real estate developer. He went to Yale, then joined the Navy, served in the Vietnam War, and then came back to DC to start his career. And over the succeeding years, Bob has developed in almost every major jurisdiction in our region and he's tackled pretty much every product type that could be built. And I think that if somebody came up with some new products, I'm sure you'd be willing to consider them. And through all this time, Bob has maintained his commitment to excellence, whether it's through design, through his own personal ethics, or the quality of his relationships. He's maintained his commitment to be involved in the community, serving as an elected official in Montgomery County, and supporting in numerous capacities nonprofits and public interest groups throughout the region. And he has maintained his commitment to be involved and giving back, like the remarkable efforts he's made with the 2030 group to bring regional focus and cooperation to the difficult issues that we face as a region. Bob is truly someone who makes those around him better. He's one of the finest people that I know, and it's an honor to present this year's ULI Lifetime Achievement Award to Bob Buchanan. Here. Don't forget this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I certainly thank and appreciate those nice tributes and testimonials, and I'll leave it up to you to figure out how many of them are true. But tonight we're here to celebrate our new status of regional cooperation and knowing what we can do together. And I wish that we could announce HQ2, which I have been predicting over and over and over, but we can't. We can say, though, that because of HQ2 and all that we have learned through that experience of applying and vying, we've learned so much about ourselves and what we can do that I think no matter what happens, we're much better for it. Most of these events that I've been to, the ones that have impressed me, and this is as impressive a venue as you can find, have been the ones where the awardee talked to those in the audience who may or may not be considering a career in development, community building, may or may not be sure of how they get to the next level, may or may not be sure they even want to stay here. Maybe they want to go back to where they came from. So if I may, I'd like to make some remarks to you, because there's so many great things that are happening, yet there's so many things that we need you to be involved in. And ULI is a great forum. Tonight, look around you. It's as good a group of community builders as you'll find anywhere, especially in our town. And I don't want the older, seasoned ULI members to think they're off the hook, because they need to be mentoring, they need to be there. But for you who are in your youth and have a ways to go, this is one strong market. For us to be named in the same sentence as a New York as a possible place where HQ2 is going to go, that was never in my vocabulary growing up. We were a government town. We didn't have big centers, business centers. We weren't a commercial power. We ranked 95th in all the world's global commercial power centers, 95th. Well, it turns out as we had to look at ourselves, how to market ourselves, and I give great credit to Chuck Bean and the folks at COG that said, let's market the region as a whole. Let's not be Maryland versus Virginia versus DC. Let's look and see what we have. And there was some phenomenal knowledge that came from that. We have assets that we didn't necessarily promote. And as a result of our workforce, as a result of our assets, one of the 3 places that's now being touted is here in this region. So to you young people who perhaps don't want to step up because you don't know what you don't know or you don't think you know very much, if you're associated with ULI, if you are involved in the land use development community, you probably know a heck of a lot more than you think you do, and we need you to step up. We need you to get in the ring. We still have a lot of things to do to really make us as competitive as we know we have to be. We have housing affordability, we have workforce development skills to be interactive with our universities, and we need to build on the momentum of being one of the finalists for this HQ2 thing. But even if HQ2 doesn't come, we can't stop. Everybody now knows we're with the big boys. Everybody now knows this is a place that has a lot of potential. So to realize that potential, I urge you to get involved in public-private partnerships, to get involved in more ULI, to go to public hearings in your community. And as you look at your projects with the idea, what does the community want? What do they need? What can I bring to it that maybe I've learned from them? How can I build their trust? How can I understand how to be maybe better than what we think we could do? Because I think we're going through a major transformation. You're looking at a guy who was very proud of all the suburban office parks he developed over the years with others. They're functionally obsolete right now. The whole concept of where we work, where we live, the whole concept of how we really revitalize Metro ties into this place that we want to be the cutting edge for the future. So all of you who can need to be in the ring, and we welcome you, because for those of us who think the pace of change is faster than we can keep up with, we welcome you. For all of us who aren't as technologically aware of many of the things that you might be, we welcome you. The old order is over. It's a new order. Be a part of it. I would never be able to have had the time to devote to some of the things that has been described by others in about 2030 and all. And I must tell you that when we started 2030, Steve Fuller told me that our regional economy was number 4 on the way to overtake Chicago to be number 3. Whoa, I didn't know that. But we were so dependent on government procurement to enhance our economy, to build our economic base, that we weren't diversified. Now, as a result of Steve and working with many coalitions that were supporting the roadmap, we're talking about an economy that knows it has to be diversified. And boy, oh boy, if HQ2 comes here, that will really be an affirmation of the things that we have that we need to build on. But as I look at how good we are and how many HQ2s we will be vying for in the future, I also know that we have a growing gap between our prosperous, our millennials, our all the right things, but there's a part of our community that is being left behind. And we need to reach out to that, make sure all of us can work better together. We need to look at parts of our community that have been left behind, the gap between the haves and the have-nots. If we're going to be this balanced place, we're going to be this place people want to come and stay, we have to be thinking about them as well. And that doesn't mean throwing a lot of money at it, but that just means, where's our conscience? Can we build better? Can we work better? I think we can. We have so many things going for us, but we also have some challenges, and will not be successful if that new order doesn't collaborate. People working together that haven't worked together before to do things that haven't been done before. I give former Mayor Tony Williams great credit for taking on the dedicated funding for Metro, for challenging the region and challenging the federal government to take over Metro if Metro couldn't be fixed. The status quo is not good. How are we going to fix it? What are we going to do? That led, as you heard in one of the comments from Claire Flannery, that led to an unprecedented effort by Metro Now, which was led by Federal City Council and Tony, but it showed what the collaboration could do. Now, Metro still has issues. There's still a lot of work to be done. But who in the world ever thought that we could do dedicated funding for something that hadn't been touched? The can had been kicked down the road for so many years. Yes, HQ2 was a catalyst. Yes, H2Q is bringing us together. But we got together. Think about that. We have a lot to be proud of. So as I look forward to working with those of you who are going to come into the ring, I also know that it's a demanding task. So I'm asking some of you CEOs to be as good as Brian was with me and let me do my thing. And to that end, I'd like to ask the members of the Buchanan Partners Group to stand, because without them, you wouldn't have had this great stuff happening in design and development, and you certainly wouldn't have had anybody like me who had the time to spend on 2030 things and other things for Montgomery County and EDC. So members of the Buchanan Family Partnership, Buchanan Partners, would you stand? Thank you. I'd also like to ask all members past and present of the 2030 group to stand and be recognized. It's an incredible group of men and women who didn't want to be networking, didn't want to have a formal group, but wanted to support a regional effort to look at regional priorities. When we first started, it was all about jurisdiction. It was all about competing with one another. Now look at where we are. And I really give this group credit because they're the who's who, names that you know, people who would really wanted to see this region grow to its potential. So with those members and those people associated with 2030, like David Bowers, Steve Fuller, and Tony Williams, please stand and join us in thanking you. It never would have happened without you. They're very modest and very, very proud that we moved the needle as far as we did. Lots of work to be done, but there's a lot to be proud of. I'd also like to recognize someone who really represents the best in that American dream, and I'm singling her out because she's the most newly elected official that has been a part of the public-private partnership that was created in Montgomery County under Ike Leggett's leadership. Lily Chi has quite a story from her coming from China to our country to learn our language, to learn our ways, to make a success of it. And through her persistence, her intelligence, her commitment and dedication, she became a major player in Montgomery County economic development. And 2 days ago, she was elected to be a state delegate, and things will change in Montgomery County because of Lily Chi. Lily, please be. Thank you. It takes that public-private partnership. The new order knows that the business community can't do it by itself, nor can the business community point to the public sector and say, you guys got to do it. We're all going to be in it together. Most important for me, however, was my family, and I've been very fortunate to have had, as Bob Pinkert identified, one fantastic partner in my wife, Sharon. We've been able to create a great life together by following our dreams, by creating interests, and being very much involved in how they tied into the community and how we could help make our community better. So to my family and to my wife, thank you. And to ULI, thank you for this memory. Thank you for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for allowing us to honor you tonight. We truly appreciate the work that you've done in our community, and certainly for ULI. I have sat in many meetings over the years with Bob at ULI, and I expect there will be more. I also want to make sure to thank the ULI staff, Lisa, Bernadine, who make this happen, and all of the staff at ULI, and all of you who made this evening a success. So we'll just give you all a hand here. We have just a couple of items of business here. So cars, if you parked by valet, you'll pick your cars up at the G Street exit. And we have hot chocolate and apple cider to go for those of you who want to take a sip of that as you wait for your cars. So good night for everybody, and safe travels. Thank you for coming.